What's up guys, it's Wilson, also known as Design by Will, and in today's video we're going to be learning how to make a tech pack for production. Now this is not going to be an introduction, so we're not going to be going over the flats. I'm going to be using my technical pack on my website to build this for production, and I'm going to be going over everything and all the questions that were asked regarding should I put the sizes of my design on my mock-up or tech pack, should I put this size, should I put that size. So this is going to be a complete guide to getting your design onto a t-shirt for a manufacturer, and this isn't going to be an introduction into more so cut and sew. This is primarily just for items you want to print on, and I cannot stress that enough. If you guys want to learn how to do cut and sew, this won't be the video for that. You want to start off with an A3 document. I like working in A3 in case the manufacturer scales down the document. If they do want to print it, they have the option of keeping that quality on the A4 piece of paper, but I like to work in A3 documents for my technical packs. Next, we're going to head over into Illustrator, grab the Illustrator tech pack in the Illustrator format, just the Illustrator one, not the PDF, not the PNGs, just the Illustrator. Make sure you head over to the regular t-shirt, highlight it, Command C again just to make sure, head over to the other document and press Command V to paste it in there, scale it down holding Shift, and make sure it fits on your page. Next, we're going to head back over to the original tech pack that we sent our original manufacturers for the samples, and we're going to highlight just this section here, which is the color codes for our manufacturer. All manufacturers have different color codes. My manufacturer that I'm working with now has a different color code. I'm just sending this one to him just for a rough estimate of the color that I'm looking for, but he ended up sending me another color book to pick from the actual colors, because one, we're not making custom colors because of our minimum order quantity, and two, it was just easier communication that way. But I have this one always with me just to get a rough idea on the actual garment color. Manufacturers will often send out color books for garment colors if you plan on working long term in the future, but you can always ask them for these color codes. Like I said, these are all different depending on which manufacturer you go with, so it doesn't make sense for me to provide you with these color codes because they won't make sense to your manufacturer. Next, we're going to open our design folders that we have our designs in, and we're going to be editing those designs so they can print better for our manufacturer. Now, there was a little bit of issues going on with some screen printing. If you guys haven't checked out my last video, go check it out because I talk about all the stuff that I'm going to be doing in this video. For this design, all we had to do was remove the outer glow. Now, the outer glow was just not printing right. The manufacturer printed it wrong and the alignment was wrong. So it had some issues with the print and it looked 3D when it wasn't meant to look 3D. I tried to salvage it, but just for the sake of mind, I just got rid of the drop shadow or the outer glow and the noise difference. Plus, it looks a lot better now just having a clean design so it matches the rest of the aesthetic. After you've got that done, you're going to prep your designs to send them off to your manufacturer. Now, since this is a PSD file, we're going to be exporting each individual artboard as an Illustrator file. We're going to be exporting them as a PDF, PSD, and also a PNG. So I give my manufacturer every single file that they need so they don't have to keep contacting me. Trust me, this will save your life because some manufacturers have programs that other people don't, and some of them have programs that they don't. So just go to export via Photoshop, and you can export artboards to files. Set this one to PSD. Make sure you have a location that you've named so you don't get anything lost. Name it whichever name you want it to be. I just have final edit for self-reflection or final edit for this design. Like, naming your files is a good practice. I do not practice this, but do as I say and not as I do. Have a good place to export your files, press run, and it will export these files for you. So I have those two artboards selected and they export them. This is an amazing update for Photoshop. I love this update. Now you're going to repeat this as a PDF and as a PNG. So make sure you highlight both of them and export them as a PDF and as a PNG. So once you've got your exports ready, you should have these 5 files, or if you're on Windows, you might have all 6, just depending on how your PDFs export. For me, they export in one page. You can go in and export these as separate pages, but you should have these files. Now I put my PSDs in one folder, put my PNGs in another folder, and have my PDF together. So these are all the design files they're gonna need. If they need the raw files, I will send the raw files. This goes for Illustrator. I will send the Illustrator file, the PDF, and the PNG, same exact thing. Now to place these designs onto your mockup, you simply just have to get the PNGs. Let me state it again. You're grabbing the PNGs and you're dragging them into Illustrator. For some reason, this error message came up, so I had to exit out of it. Like I said before, all you're doing is just opening your Finder or your Windows folder and opening the PNGs and dragging them directly into Illustrator. Now from here, you can scale them using Shift so they fit onto your design, your mockup, sorry. And after you've got it scaled, make sure you don't delete anything by accident like me. And you've got your placement how you want it to be. We're gonna be going over the rest of this technical pack. After you got your designs ready, you're gonna wanna bring in your size chart. Now my manufacturer sent me a size chart, but I'm gonna be making one in Illustrator for you. It's much easier to make this in Excel, but we're gonna be making it in Illustrator just to show you guys how I would make a size chart in Illustrator. So basically you want to get that grid tool in your tool panel, and it's just where the line tool is. Hold that and you'll get access to this grid tool, and you're just holding Shift as you scale it down, and make sure you don't take your hand off the mouse, and you're just going in with the arrows. Up and down is adding in your rows, and side to side is adding in your columns. Now you're going to want to do this so it accommodates all the sizing that you want. And basically for a t-shirt technical pack, there's basically 3 categories that you want to approach, and at the top is where you put all your sizing. I'm going to be doing my measurements in inches, but I would recommend you guys do them in centimeters, because centimeters are a little bit more accurate when it comes to production. Millimeters if you want to be crazy. Don't be doing millimeters, bro. But centimeters or inches, I would recommend you guys go with centimeters if you're doing cut and sew. But if you're just doing it based on printing on a shirt or something like that, inches is more than fine. Now I'm just going to be duplicating the word inches across the grid, so it's in all my columns just by doing it once, holding Option and dragging across, then pressing Command D to duplicate the action going forward. Once you've got that sorted, select all the words and head over to your alignment tool and press align in a straight line, and it will align them all together. Make sure you got this all aligned, looking nice and scrumdiddlyumptious, and that's about it. Now we're gonna do the same approach for the sizing. So just going in on all the words, changing them to the size, and we're gonna be doing this going downwards. So that's gonna be for the chest, the length, and I'm pretty sure the shoulder length. In the end, you should have something like this. Now, if you're making a technical pack from scratch, like I said before, you're going to be needing a lot more information than this. This is just to show the garment sizing. You would also put this on something like a website to show your clients the sizing of your garment so they can cross match it with whatever sizes they are, in case you have some sort of custom sizing with pants or something like that. And that's going to be the case for my shorts. Next, we're just going to be adding all this into the grid in itself. So we're duplicating the sizing, and from here we're going to be adding the actual sizes in inches of all the measurements regarding the t-shirt. Like I said before, you can cross-reference this from other brands. Rue Porter has a chart just like this, and these are basically the Rue Porter measurements, just with a slight difference, so a little bit more boxy and oversized. You can copy them all you want, but like I said before, your manufacturer will most likely have a technical pack for you or a size chart for you. Cross-reference that with an American sizing so you can get a better understanding on what the sizes are, and you can ask them to adjust the sizes to fit an American sizing. Like I said before, Unported is an amazing website, and they do wholesale, which has the sizing of the most popular garments like hoodies and shirts. And I use it all the time with clients. They say they're printing on Unported. I go directly to their website, just download the size chart that they have and put it directly in the technical pack. The more information, the better. So just on this little diagram, it's just a technical pack without the color fill, scaled down to fit the sizing of the size chart. Just add in a little guiding lines for your manufacturer. This is just for in case they don't know English very well. You can have like your chest length and then shoulder length on the actual diagram, just so they get a better understanding of what sizing you're talking about when you have these words. Like I said, most of them don't speak English if you're looking to go overseas, so the more information the better. Lastly, on our size chart, we have some 2 columns left. I usually leave these for either the color or the amount of units we're going to order of each sizing. But if you're ordering 50 units, they tend to just split that up into 10, 10, 10 if you have all 5 sizes, or they will do one of more if you want more of one, just depending on what type of sizing that you want. After you got the primary layout of your technical pack, we're going to move into sizing the designs. Lucky for me, I have samples of the shirt that we're going to be printing on, and I strongly recommend that so you can get the most accurate sizing for your designs, and I've already measured it. But if you don't have that, the best rule of thumb is to size for the smallest size that you have on the technical pack, and just basically do some math wizardry, and that's what they're going to be using for the rest of the designs. That's if you don't want to do bespoke printing. So bespoke printing is basically printing for every single design, also for every single size that you have, so the design matches the garment at its fullest. But what I did was I just got the biggest size that I could get, which was extra large. I saw what the design would look like on an extra large t-shirt, which I really liked, and then I scaled it down. So I got a sample first, and I would prefer this. I would recommend this, sorry, if you do have the budget for it, but samples are pretty expensive, and if you want to be as low cost as possible, just having a reference t-shirt next to you and a measuring tape, and just measure roughly what size your design would like to be. And even if you have a printer, this is better because you can actually print out your designs on an A4 piece of paper and roughly get an estimate of what your design is going to look like on a certain garment. This is why people order blank samples, because it's very good. For me, I just use these leading blue lines just by using the pen tool and putting my measurements. So I measure for the width, and for the height, I just tell them to scale it. This has never failed me, and plus it's more accurate than you trying to measure your design on a computer and roughly get an estimate on how tall your design is going to be. But since they have the width and they can scale the designs for the garment without warping it, this is probably the best way to communicate it. And once I've got one of the designs, I just directly just drag it to the other one because they're going to be the same sizing. I thought about making this smaller, so I just put 16 inches rather than 16.5 just to accommodate the collar. But that's about it, and that's how you measure your designs. Would I recommend you put measurements on your technical pack? Absolutely. I'm going to keep saying this, the more the better. Now lastly, we're just going to be adding our print styles to the garment. If you want to make this more detailed, you can have a separate page and number all your designs and be like, number 1 design, make it puff print. But since this is just a simple t-shirt and this is primarily what you guys are going to be starting off with, this is more than sufficient. Just making a line pointing towards your design and putting whatever print style you're going to go with. So you can do whatever you want: embroidery, screen print, puff prints, I don't know, bleach, sun. I saw somebody use the sun to print, bro. That was crazy. People using sun to print. But that's about it. Lastly, we're just gonna grab our tags and drag them into Illustrator, into our new document, if I can find it, sorry, and just drag it directly onto our garment. Now we're gonna have a size chart for our tags also, but I have a reference t-shirt that I'm using. Like, again, real life references will save your life, of another brand, and they have a tag similar to this. So I'm going to be copying their placement and also their sizing for the tags. I have the t-shirt right in front of me and I'm measuring it with a measuring tape how big I want my tag to be. To finish off adding this tag, I'm just going to add a line going down to indicate where the stitching is. Go into the stroke settings, add a dashed line, adjust the sizing into 2, and just copy that over to the other side. So that's going to indicate where this tag is going to be stitched. We just want double stitch there in case someone wants to remove it. It's easily removed. I'm going to add some custom weight to the actual garment. So it's going to be 245 GSM, so a heavier t-shirt. My manufacturer said this is not possible, mainly because I got 50 units, 245 GSM. They just don't want to source that unless I'm willing to pay an extra $250 USD, which I'm not. So we just got humbled real quick to go back to the basic 230 GSM, which is not bad. 230 GSM for a t-shirt is perfectly fine. I just wanted 245 because I like really heavy t-shirts. 100% cotton, and I'm gonna put heavy T for the manufacturer. That's about it, and that's all you need. Or you can just put heavy T. You can also describe what type of fit you're looking for, and most manufacturers nowadays, if they're over 2 to 3 years old, they will probably understand what you're talking about in terms if you want a boxy fit, heavy t-shirt, oversized, etc. My last samples that we got, we told them oversized. Definitely not oversized. So it's not a 100% reliable method to tell people, but I guess if you don't have any option, just describe what you're looking for. Based on my notes, we're not 100% complete on the t-shirt yet, but we're just going to make a separate page to show you guys how to make a indicator for your tags and what tags you're after, how to size your tags, and the sizing that I'm going to be using for my tags. I simply just copied and pasted the actual tag over from the t-shirt, directly from the t-shirt, scaled it up. This is why I love working in Illustrator, because you have so much flexibility in terms of your designs, so nothing gets distorted. If you were to do this in Photoshop, this would definitely not look like this. This would 100% look pixelated, and you'd probably have to remake the graphic if you don't have it on standby as a PNG or PDF. And I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm just changing the stroke and editing the actual dash line to make it look more realistic in terms of a stitch or where the stitch indication would be. And next, I'm just going to be adding the sizing. As for the XL, the font is just basic generic sans, so it's universal across all computers. I'm also going to indicate that this is going to be a woven neck tag, so it's not just going to be a screen print, it's going to be woven similar to my shorts. And I'm also going to send them a photo of the tag on my shorts and my hats to indicate what the tag looks like. Since I already have the tags, I know the exact measurements, so it's going to be 6 centimeter width and it's going to be a 3 centimeter height. And for the little size indicator, it's going to be 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter cube. Before we finish up, we're just going to be cleaning up the document a little bit more, adding actual headings to our actual pages, so indicating which section or which page indicates what. So for the first page of the t-shirts, we're going to be putting revision t-shirt. We're going to be putting the actual t-shirt name so they can put it in their system. And if you want, you can also put your sample size. So if you're having a sample XL, make sure you put sample in XL. And just to close off this project, so now everything is complete, you can go directly into production with this technical pack here. I'm going to be adding some little details like a custom color. I said in my last video I wanted a distressed color slash a thick custom color for my t-shirt to make it look more premium and feel more premium, and I wanted to take reference from Levi Bentley's Trinity the Labels t-shirts, and now they have this distressed color, and I really like how it looks, especially with the tags and everything. It just looks really perfect, and having these sort of little intricate design features in your product will actually be a selling feature and also really good for product shots. Lastly, for this tech pack, we're going to add a photo of our tags so they can have a better reference of what I'm talking about in terms of a woven tag. This is based on the sample from our revision shorts, and it's a perfect tag, so we're just going to be putting that in and using it as a reference for them to follow. And that is it. Since we have this template now, it's going to be really easy for design 2, the Pharrell t-shirt. All we need to do for the Pharrell t-shirt is adjust the color of the garment and also adjust the designs so they're better in terms of print, because one issue was the shadows, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to remove them. But in terms of the technical pack, it is complete for the t-shirt. All you have to do is just select everything and hold Option to duplicate it, and you have a copy, and this is where we're going to put the Pharrell t-shirt in. So now we got the Pharrell project file open. I'm going to be showing you guys how to remove shadows from your design. Now this is a very simple process. I'm going to make sure the artboards are all on transparent and all the other artboards like mockups are turned off. After I've made a duplicate, I've grouped all my designs on respective artboards into a folder and then converted them to a smart object. And after you've done that, you want to go up to select, color range, scroll down to the select options and click shadows, and it basically highlights all the shadows and dark points for you, and that's basically all we're going to be removing. Press Command D because we forgot to put our masks, and go back and select your mask, and you can just basically reselect the selection you had in before. Go to your mask and basically either get a black paintbrush and individually remove all the colors, or just press G and get the fill and set it to black, and it's easier that way to just remove all the dark spots. And basically you're left with primarily just the highlights for the design, and this is perfect because the shadows are going to be printed on the t-shirt, and this is what I was trying to explain last time. Make sure it's on black so you can understand how it's going to look when it's printed. This is a good representation of how it's going to look when it's printed. And once we've got that checked off, we're going to be doing the same thing we did before. Export it as a PSD, PDF, and a PNG, all in transparent layers, and also include for this one a black version just so they can understand what it looks like when it's printed. After getting everything done and ready, we're going to be dragging these PNGs directly into Illustrator like before and putting them onto the mockup. Now all the designs are the same in terms of the actual garment. Everything is the same. The only thing that's changing is the actual design and the color of the garment, which is going to be now this dark black color. And that's basically it. And this makes it a lot easier because now you can possibly make a technical pack for 5 different shirts because you spent the time on making the original one. And all you have to do is just basically scale down all the designs and make sure everything looks good, and making sure you title your actual technical pack so it suits the rest of the design. The only thing we're going to be changing in terms of this technical pack is we're going to be indicating that we want a different wash on the actual garment. We don't want it to be just solid black. Once we've got a reference image of the wash that we're looking for in terms of our garment, we're just going to be doing the same thing we did with the photos. Just highlight it, indicate what it is, and point it towards the actual garment, and you're fine. Just to make sure that they get the memo, please do not print the shadows. I'm just going to indicate it again, even though I'm not sending them a design file with the shadows. I'm just saying, please don't print the shadows. just so they can understand that I really don't want the shadows printed. And that's gonna make it up for this design. Everything is ready. See how easy it is because we've spent the time making the technical pack for design 1. All we had to do was just rename the files, add in the new designs, and indicate any other small changes that we want to make. In terms of the design, everything is staying the same. I said before that I did want to make the actual front design smaller, but I decided to keep the larger print because it just looked better. Lastly, you just want to save your design. I'm just going to be saving on my computer into a safe location, and then we're going to be exporting it as a PDF also, so it's more readable and easily accessible via Google Drive or email. And that's basically it for the t-shirts. That's how you make a technical pack. We did all the adjustments that we had in our Notion board and our notes in the last video, and we were able to complete this for the t-shirts. Now we're going to move on to the shorts and start working on those. So these are the Menace cargo shorts, and this is the original technical pack I sent to my manufacturer. Obviously, like I said before, they already had a size chart for this. I just sent them the idea that I really wanted. They sent me some examples and we're able to agree. They sent me a sample, it got approved, and we're just going to be making the final adjustments, and that includes a new drawing so it fits the actual garment a little bit better. So I'm going to be showing you guys how I edit this, and I really did put myself in a hole because the technical pack is expanded because it's only meant to be used to print onto actual garments. That's how you're meant to utilize it. So we're going to be basically editing this so it fits the actual sample a lot better. And the first thing we have to do is we're going to have to remove the lines because there is no belt loops in this design. And also we're going to be editing the rest of the garments like the pockets. And that's basically it. I did say that I wanted to make the waistband a little bit thicker. I decided to just keep it the same width because I didn't want it to be a little bit more chunky on the top. Plus, it was more cost effective to keep it the same. So just to explain what I'm actually doing. So I've built a rectangle and I've cut off a line between the actual outline of the garment and the belt loops, and then I'm going to be using the shape builder tool to build new shapes, which is going to cut off the actual belt loops and the actual what's it called, button. And I'm going to basically be deleting this, which is going to leave us with a blank open area to make our edits in. From here, I'm just going to be going through a tedious process in wireframe mode. So just pressing Command Y on Mac and going through with the remove anchor point tool and just removing any little anchor points that I can see so it looks a bit more clean. After we've got that cleaned up, we can start introducing our new waistband, which is basically just the pen tool and going into stroke and adding in a dashed line. And now we're going to start to indicate that this is going to be a, I would say, stretch and elastic waistband. And the way you do that basically is indicated with this squiggly line where the elastic would go. And if you look at your elastic pants or cut them open, you can see how the elastic pattern looks like from the inside of the garment. Now we're just going to be adding in our actual holes for our strings that we're going to be putting on our design. Now I'm not going to indicate the strings in this because we have a pattern going across the crotch, but this is how you basically make a sort of hole, I guess, that indicates where your strings would come from. But there's an easy way to do this. You can just get one ellipse and then go to object path and then offset path. But once you've got it done, whichever way you want it to do, just make sure you group it, duplicate it, and make sure it's aligned in the center. And that's basically it for the top part. Now we're going to be moving over to the actual pockets so they fit the rest of the design. Now I did try to make this little eyelet here for the hardware, but I decided that it's not needed, and I just can tell them that I want to keep the same hardware. and this is about being the most effective. And plus we already got the communication channel there, so this is really not needed. So same thing with the actual shorts in itself, the pockets I mean, sorry. Making little shapes that block off the lines from the primary outline or the primary line for the shorts, and basically building a new shape and then deleting that so it looks more clean, and then bringing in the new shorts pockets. So basically for the new short pockets, they're just going to be hidden zippers, and that's basically it. I'm just going to fast forward this process because it's not that interesting. All I'm doing is making a rectangle and then offsetting the rectangle to make a pattern for the stitch line and indicating how they look. And after that, that's about it. Next, you basically want to make a duplicate of your shorts. Now there's already error here because as you can see, there's a line missing from the top stitching. That's because I didn't group it. So make sure you group your actual outlines before you make a duplicate, but that's a mistake that can be had. I don't really care about that mistake. And next I can just duplicate the actual color layer because it fits perfectly. The only thing we adjusted was the pockets and the actual waistband. And now we can test fit our actual design to see how everything is looking. And from here we can get a better estimate of what the actual garment's going to look like, and it's going to look fine. Now this one's going to be a little bit different because I'm working in the actual original file because I'm not going to be needing the drafts. So I'm taking the elements directly from the old shorts and putting them onto the new shorts, and I'm going to be doing it this way because it's the quickest and most effective way for me to be editing this technical pack. After we've got our placement ready, it's going to be the same process as before. Basically placement, tech pack, mock-up, placement, and measuring your designs, making sure everything fits. Now we already had our measurements on deck for all the designs. Also, like before, just indicate what type of print style or embroidery style you're going to be using on your shorts. So for the front pocket, it's going to be screen print. The little side patch is going to be embroidery, and the back is just going to be the woven label, which I'm copying over now to ensure that we have that ready and complete. So this is the back of the shorts. The hardware is silver here, so I'm just going to press Command Y and adjust that and add in a silver button. And that's primarily it for the actual mock-up in itself. So you can see all my actual labeling for all the designs that we have on the actual shorts. Now we're going to be doing a custom fabric for these shorts. So it's going to be 85% polyester, 85% nylon, and then 15% elasticine, so it's stretchy. We want this to be stretchy. Now that's a very thin and light material, almost like swimming. It's not double layered, so it's a single layer, and we wanted to go with that approach because of summer, and also this can be doubled up as swimming trunks, and that was the whole approach. We wanted a really like shell looking feel, and we also just didn't want to go with generic cotton because the sample was 90% cotton, 10% elasticine, and it just felt a little bit too off. Even though that this will feel a little bit lighter in terms of the actual material, it just overall, we have a sample from H&M, that feels better than the actual cotton, so we just went with the nylon. Now these shorts have a technical they have a technical size chart. I just can't share that with you. This is my and my manufacturer's private technical size chart, and since this is a custom pair of shorts, I just don't want to give that out to the public. And basically we're going to be editing this so the manufacturer can get a better understanding. So the size chart is going to be for a large, but this is going to be a custom size. So the actual waist of the shorts is going to be a 38-39, and that's going to be size large. We're taking reference from the H&M shorts because it's classified as a relaxed fit, so it goes up a size. So in order for you to get the perfect size or the perfect fit, you're meant to downsize. Similar to t-shirts, you would add an extra 2 to 4 inches to the chest to make it more relaxed, and you tell people to downsize. Just the same thing, I guess. So yeah, that's the approach we're going to be taking, and we're going to be indicating that with the red lines and we're going to be indicating the actual sizing of the sample. We're going to make sure this sample is an actual 39 waist, similar to the ones at H&M, but when we go into production, we're going to be only sizing up 2 inches per size. So for instance, a 36, which is a normal large, is going to be a 38. A medium, which is a 34, is going to be a 36, which is a regular large, and etc, etc. Just to close off this tech pack, we're going to be adding a photo of all the actual elements in terms of the hardware, zipware. Now, if you can find physical photos, those will 100% be better to indicate what you're looking for with your manufacturer. The more, the better. And if you can have physical communication, that would be perfect. But since you can't, having a photo of the exact sort of item that you want on the garment is the best option. It's even better than drawing it because they can understand it a bit more. And that's gonna close off the design in itself. The rest of it is gonna stay the same. The second page stays the same because there's nothing we need to adjust. The only thing we're adjusting is the sizing on the second page. But in terms of the garment production for the technical pack, it's all there. Like I said before, these shorts actually have a separate full technical size chart, which I can't share. But other than that, that's basically it. How you communicate with your manufacturer the best way. Hope this answered a lot of the questions that were in the original video. This is a way more in-depth video. The original one was just to teach you guys how to make flats primarily and how to get your designs onto the flats so you can directly send that to your manufacturer. But this is a way more detailed version of what they would expect, and I feel like this would be the base. This would be the base in terms of tech packs. Sure, you can send a mock-up without the actual sizing of the actual garments and the designs, and you can make as much mock-ups as you want, physical mock-ups as you want. They will never get it perfect unless you order samples. And I can't stress that enough, guys. Please order samples before you go into production. One, so you can understand what you and your customers will be getting. So try to get a final production sample before you even go to launch. And plus, if you can get a final production sample, you can start marketing straight off the bat. And that's what we're trying to do. But since Chinese New Year is about, samples are taking like 3 months. So RIP to anybody trying to get samples within these next 3 months that hasn't ordered previous 2 months. Good luck to you guys because we're in the same boat. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you guys. Peace. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good night. Take care.